Hi everyone, I'm Christine Josty of Mail Something Pretty, and today I want to show you this really cool, fancy, fun fold card. This was actually designed by Sue Campfield, and she's a demonstrator in the United States. Now I forget exactly what state, but I saw this card, and she did different papers and versions of it, but I loved it, and so I believe she designed it, and she called it the Curtain Call Fold, because it kind of, if you look at it, right, it looks like a curtain from like a theater, and then when it opens up, this opens up like that. So it kind of does remind you of a stage with the other curtains, kind of, you know, they go up and they go. So it's kind of a fun card. So I wanted to show you how to make it. I used the papers from the new Fitting Florets paper pack that I know it's a while supplies last, but any papers would work. And so these are similar versions, just with different paper from that same pack. I think it makes a beautiful birthday card. So I want to show you some steps on how to do it. Let me put those aside for a second. So you're going to start, you're going to actually use a full sheet of paper for the card. I made a note for myself. You want to cut. Actually, here are my little notes. I'll have to type these up so they're nicer looking. But the card base is 5.5 by 10 3/4. And so what I discovered, I'll just do that right now. If you cut the 5.5 first, I get all stuff on my paper cutter. So yeah, so it's in the portrait position. So I'm going to cut at 5.5. So you get these two pieces. This piece we're actually going to use for the inside. So now I'm just going to cut 1/4 inch off this piece, right? 10 3/4, yeah. So we don't need that piece. And then extend this out, because I'm going to do a bunch of scoring. So we're going to score at 3 1/4, 1 3/4, 3 1/4. Did I say that right? 3/4, 1 3/4, 3 1/4, 7.5, 9 and 10. So let's do that now. So again, so now it's in the landscape position. So 3/4, 1 3/4, 3 1/4. I'll definitely have to write these out. 7.5, 9. Oops. And 10. All right. So then this was what was left over. So we're going to score this right in the middle at 5.5. No, 4 1/4. We want it halfway. No, I was right. 5.5. That one I didn't write down. Oh yeah, I guess I did. All right, so this is kind of be the inside for that little, the greeting. You can certainly make this, let me get the card. You can make this wider. This is that piece. You have probably about 3/4 inch on both sides, so you certainly could make it wider, but it's nice because this is just a leftover piece. So that works out. All right, so we're done with that. Have that, we have that. So now I'm going to grab my bone folder here. I'm actually going to flip it. So I'm looking at the valleys. I'm going to flip this over. And so I'm going to start folding it from the, you know, that's like a regular card base size. So I'm going to fold it this way. And I will accordion it. I'm going to go this way. And then I'm going to go this way. So it gets that accordion fold. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Back. I find it easier to start in the middle and then work your way out than trying to figure out which way they go. So there we go. So that is the fold. Really, those are the two pieces. So now we get to decorate. So I have already pre-cut my pieces. And so, and again, depending on if you're, you know, you have all this room to put the inside, that will change your measurements. So some variety in there. And so what I did, where's my card? I'll show you. So you could put, if you're still doing this 3-inch wide one, you could still put designer paper behind there if you wanted still another pattern. You can leave some blank. You could fill them. So right, I have paper here, I have embossed paper here and paper here. I left this panel blank, but you could certainly put something there, but you don't see it when it's closed because it's underneath. But you certainly could, because if it's, you can see it from the back. So whatever you want to do, and all you have to do is kind of measure the width. They're all 5 1/4 long, but just measure the width of each panel, and that kind of gives you the measurements of what they are. But let's put these on. Okay, we'll start with the little ones. These are 1/2 inch wide. My glue is going to be empty soon. I'll have to go grab another tube. All right. So I decided to put one on each side, but again, you don't have to. It's kind of however you want to personalize or customize this card. Oops. I just dropped it in my lap and got glue on my pants. It'd make a beautiful wedding card. I'm just going to flip it and work this way. Once you get, it's all the work I think is in the cutting. But if you're going to make multiples, you'll get a system down of cutting the pieces, so it won't be too much of a trouble. But this is definitely a card for a special person, in my view. Okay, so there we have on both sides. So now this piece, I'm going to put, this is just Native Navy, so I did tone on tone, but I did emboss it with a fern embossing folder. I thought, you know, it needed a little something, but I didn't want, I don't think really there's a right side or wrong side to this. I didn't want too many colors. I thought it would be a little bit too busy, but I thought it needed something. So that's what's great about that when you do tone on tone and you do the texture. I think it works great for that. Okay, and then, so now we have the, oops, I didn't press down so good. So this is the texture, you really do have to make sure it's down. Okay, and then when you open it up, you have these two panels, so I'm going to use the gingham, and this is from that Fitting Florets paper. Which is really a nice pack of paper. Alright, I'm going to kind of match my gingham there. And the last piece I have, so that opens up like that, is actually this piece. So I did the same thing. I used the, excuse me, the Ferns embossing folder. I just thought too many colors or patterns would be way too busy. I think that's 1 1/4, but I'm not 100%. But all you have to do is measure the width and then just take like a 1/4 inch off for the border. All right, so there we go. So that opens up, and now we have to put the inside in. So again, we have that remaining piece that's 3 by 11. And I have an inside piece and an outside piece. This, I think this is my favorite print of the whole pack. You know, I'm a sucker for navy blue. All right. And then I just put a white piece on the inside. And you could leave it plain, but just to dress it up, I cut just a little piece and I'm going to put that right there. And you could do, I'm going to do in the same, actually I suppose I could have done that pattern, but it doesn't have to be the same pattern. I just think it dresses it up, because then when you open it up, you'll still see that pattern in there. And then, let me just stamp. Ooh, look at, I hate it when that happens. Open it too fast. Okay, so I'm using the Framed Florets stamp set, which coordinates with this paper, but you can use anything. But I love the wishes for a beautiful birthday and for a special person on a special day, because I think this is more of a special card. It's a little more involved. Let's see, I just re-inked my blue, so there we go. And then I actually already, I stamped it, but look, it has a yellow on it. So let's flip it over and do the other side. It was funny when we were stamping, they're like, I don't think this is going to fit on it, but it does. It just seems like it's bigger. Oh, sorry if I just got my head in there. I have to see. Okay. Oh, that actually looks better because I re-inked it. It was getting a little, I use it so much. Just give it a second to dry though, that it needed to be re-inked. So I'm just going to attach. Yep. I actually could have done the knot first, but this is fine. It actually doesn't matter. So I'm just going to line this up in the middle. Again, you have that wiggle room on both sides. So I could have put another pattern paper, or I could have made this wider. You have that option of depending on what you're making. But because I have that room, right, because when it closes you have that, you can overhang your sentiments. I kind of like that. But before we attach that, we have to tie our ribbon. So I'm using the soft succulent ribbon. It's a beautiful ribbon. It just feels really nice. It ties really nice. It's a great sheen to it. I'm really happy with this ribbon. And so I'm just going to, and you see how I leave, whenever I use my ribbon, I leave it attached. I don't cut it first, because if I misjudged, now I still have a little room to play with it without, you know, cutting the wrong size. So I'm just going to tie a knot rather than a bow. For this, I think would be too thick. I'll show you another one that I did do a bow. But it just lays really, look at it, it's just beautiful. So I will trim this. Trim this. So that's really all that got wasted. Only because I really had to clean it up. All right, so I'm going to, oh yeah, look at the difference between, that's a faded blue and that's a darker blue. The re-inking made a difference. And I use, these squares were cut from the Stylish Shapes dies, which I use all the time. All right, and so now I'm gonna put this here and here. So I am gonna use a dimensional. I'm just gonna put them on this side so that there's, you know, there's nothing sticky on that side. Oops. So I'm just gonna do 2. And that way the ribbon will be straddled, and so it won't interfere. And you can move it over wherever you want. Kind of like it right there. All right, so wishes for a beautiful birthday. I just think it's so nice, and it does fit in an envelope. I actually have one stuffed in here. I just wanted to show you. It is a little thick. I actually meant to go to the post office before I film this, and I haven't yet, to see if this is worthy of just one stamp or if you need extra postage. So if you're unsure, you could always stick on 2. It is a little thick, but I will find out. But it does, it just fits in the envelope. Oh, somehow I got yellow on everything. So that's the one with the pink. And this is the one with a flat bow now, but it has a bow because it's the sheer, it's the pool party sheer ribbon. So this would be too thick, I think, to tie a bow. Alrighty, so that's what I wanted to show you. This curtain call fold card. I just think it's beautiful. And then hopefully when someone gets it, they kind of crimp it together when they put it on their table or their mantle, and it sits really nice. And this pops out a little bit. That's really pretty. So I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments or like the video. And if you want to see more things, you can visit my blog at mailsomethingpretty.com. Have a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye-bye.